Welcome to another episode of Made in Sullivan County, where we visit places that you ask yourself, I wonder what they make in that building. Well, today we're not in a building, we're outside. We're showcasing mobile services for your business and residents. Here's Bart McMillan with Blue Ridge Recycling.
My name is Bart McMillan. I grew up here in Bristol, Tennessee. I attended Tennessee High. I later went to Virginia Tech. My wife is Amber McMillan. She was a nurse practitioner, and she was in the ICU a lot. And she would get attached to patients, and she would come home and cry. And I just kind of encouraged her to find something that people wanted to come see you. And we had an opportunity to buy a business, and we purchased it, and she's grown it. It's Pure Glow Aesthetics. And she's right on the Parkway, and she also has a location up in Abingdon. Her parents grew up in Blumville. Tina and Todd Godsey. He owns Bigfoot Taxidermy. My parents grew up in Colonial Heights. They attended Sullivan Central, and it's Jeff and Debbie McMillan. I'm owner of Blue Ridge Environmental. Blue Ridge is the main name, but we have a medical waste business. We have a document shredding business. I actually purchased a business, Extreme Clean. It's a commercial cleaning business. So we've got, we clean everything from doctors' offices to factories. And then we got kind of a unique business. It's called Blue Ridge Bins. We actually do at-home curbside trash can cleaning. So we come to your location, we after the trash is picked up, and we clean the trash cans. I started actually with this. I sold my pickup truck and bought a box truck. So I was commuting with that for a while, and then was able to purchase an old Chevrolet truck, actually from Alan's cousin, Jared. So I looked at my dad. Him and his three brothers are all doctors. I looked at that venue, and I like that aspect of it and everything, but. My dad always told me, well, I have to be there to make money, and I looked at the entrepreneurial aspect of it that, if you want to have some freedom in your life and still make money, then you can set up businesses that you can be on vacation and still be making money. And so that really struck a nerve in me, and that was kind of my goal, even going through college and everything. And that's where my original goal was to buy J.A. Street out, and But it was a big, lofty goal. He's got such a great established business and everything. And I originally wanted to do a construction, either residential or commercial. And I was duck hunting in Arkansas with a bunch of doctors, and they were discussing medical waste side of things. And they kind of were like, you ought to open that business, Bart. And they kind of one thing led to another for the medical waste side of things. Got that going in 2012, and then about 2013, I realized I'm going and doing sales for people that need, paper shredding. So I kind of did 2 and 2 there, and because the contracts for the shredding was a lot easier to get in, and that way I've got my foot in the door. They see me, there. I'm already a customer. I'm already set up with a W-9 and all that good stuff, and then we could work on their medical waste contracts. We recycle between 50,000 and 100,000 pounds of shred paper a month. All the medical waste is recycled as well. But with the bins and everything, we're collecting the water, and it's not going into the streams and stuff like that. It's being treated before it gets there. But then the commercial cleaning, some people want the harsher chemicals to kill everything, and then we have some that are environmentally friendly as well. You don't want to leave your kids with a mess, with the environment and everything like that. See, I played at Tennessee High in 99 to 2002 was the seasons. And my coaches were B.W. Holt the first 2 years, and then Greg Stubbs took over. And Greg Stubbs' first year, we went 12-0 and then lost to Morristown West in the playoffs. And then my senior year, I think we were 9-1 in the regular season, and then lost to Greenville in the second or third round. I can't remember exactly. But then I went to Virginia Tech, and I was there the fall of 2003 to 2008 Orange Bowl. So we played in the Insight Bowl versus Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, some guys that are still in the league. And one of my teammates is actually still in the league, Dwayne Brown. He plays for the New York Jets. He's a offensive lineman that's a pretty historic career as an offensive lineman. They usually don't make it that long. But yeah, we're very successful at Virginia Tech. I think it was their winningest couple of years. But and then we had the massacre at Virginia Tech and everything. And so that was a tough season that following year. I believe it was the fall of 2007. So we had some of the survivors out on the field and stuff like that. It was a good way to heal, but it was still a emotional time. I actually originally signed to play football at ETSU, and then they dropped our football program, and so kind of was lost, didn't really know what to do. And Coach Wiles, my recruiter, gave me a phone call and said, let's come up this weekend and let's talk and see what we can get worked out. And so ended up walking on that fall, and eventually getting a scholarship and everything. Well, I attended Virginia Tech. My undergrad was property management and real estate. And then I was playing football while I was at Virginia Tech, and I graduated and still had a year left of eligibility because I redshirted my freshman year. And so I started my building engineering degree, but I was going to miss practice Monday and Thursday. So Coach Beamer was not too thrilled about that. So I got a health science master's. That, if I ever wanted to coach high school athletics or teach, or just kind of, I didn't want to waste the time because I still had to be a student to be able to be an athlete and everything. But worked out a deal with them to stay on scholarship and work on my other degree, which was building engineering. And so that's where, my goal was to, kind of find a middle ground between Steve Johnson and J.A. Street. Just doing, the commercial development side of things with the construction business, and then be able to manage the properties as well. So that's where my goal was at that time. But then I got out of school 2010. It was after the 2008 collapse, and decided really was struggling to find a job. I had a couple of job offers for construction overseas in Dubai, and just really didn't find anything that was didn't want to be that far away from my family. And I got a job working for Comfort Systems USA down in Nashville, and I worked there for 2 years. The Tri-Cities is just a great place to live. You're 5 hours from Charleston, Nashville, Cincinnati, Washington D.C. You can be anywhere after work that you really want to be or need to be. And I think, it's really overlooked as far as, well, it's not anymore. More people are moving to this area. But, when I was getting out, it's, lived in Nashville, cost of living there was skyrocketing. And it made more sense to start a business here than kind of start in Nashville and just kind of get washed away in a sense. My dad, he was a large influence on me. Also, my best friend down in Nashville was my old boss, Kip Yunt, and he just recently passed away. So, anyway, he was always a good influence on me. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But
he was a big influence.
Oh yeah, he was. But yeah, Dad and Kip were both good influences on me, and they always pushed me. And Kip hated that I left, but it was a step up and not sideways step. And that's what you always want to see that with your employees. You want them to see them go up. You don't want to see them leave you and sidestep, because, in my opinion, you're doing something wrong. The medical waste, we handle sharps, pharmaceuticals, bloodborne pathogens, all that kind of stuff. We pick those up from hospitals, dental offices, oral surgeons, pretty much anything that we pick up for the school systems. At the end of the year, we pick up their sharps containers and stuff like that. But we take it to a processing facility down in Gastonia, North Carolina. They use autoclaves and incinerators to process the materials. Business is formed on paper. Michael Scott in the office. It's everybody. Everybody's going digital, but I see more paper being shredded than any time. We have 4 shred trucks that are mobile. That we go out to the facility, we go in and collect everything, come out, shred everything on site, and then we also do a lot of bulk shreds. So client has filing cabinets, they have banker's boxes and everything in storage facilities, mini storage. We go to on site with those, shred them there, and then all the paper is recycled. One of those things that a friend of mine told me about the business, and I got to looking into it, and I'm like, it's kind of like a lawn mowing business. It's a service that you either choose to do it yourself or you choose to hire somebody, and it's still getting the word out there right now. We've got a website developed, but we've got a guy driving around now, Justin Dameron. He actually had a small business here in Bristol called Flower Time. It was a flower delivery service. So COVID kind of shut that down, and they started a family. So everything, it was a good thing that they shut it down because the family started. But he was wanting to get back into it, and we just partnered up just a couple weeks ago because it was more than I could take on. And he's going around and doing some sales and cleaning trash cans and everything like that. It's hard getting the word out there. So, people either laugh about it or they're like, they have to have it. On trash day, their trash gets emptied. Then we come in after that. We pick up the trash can. If there's anything left in there, then we pick that up and dispose of that. But then our trash cleaning truck picks the can up and pressure washes it at 200 degrees and then 4,000 PSI. So it cleans it all out and everything, and then all the wastewater is we dispose of that as well. So all that's being taken off site and everything like that. But most people when they're cleaning a trash can, they're going to put some bleach in there, scrub it a little bit, and then dump all the wastewater into their driveway where their kids play, and then the smell really never leaves. The bacteria and everything that's the odor causing is still there. Because I have people tell me that all the time. They're like, well, I'll just do it myself. But we take all the wastewater out and dispose of it properly. So it's a great service, just trying to get the word out on it. All the wastewater is collected and disposed of. I had a great group of coaches at Tennessee High. They always, it was all about discipline and work ethic and everything. And, that carried on over at Virginia Tech. But Coach Stubbs and Coach Mays were both influential to me, and still are. We go fishing and still hang out and stuff like that. So they were great. And Coach Beamer and Coach Foster at Virginia Tech and Coach Wiles who recruited me. There was a lot of times at Virginia Tech I was like, I just want to be a student. I don't want to put in all this time. And it really is a job. It's a 40 to 60 hour job a week plus a student. So it just, I tell friends and family that are wanting to be a athlete, even at any level, that it's a job, and, you've got to be a student. So, your job there, or your main purpose is to be a student, but then you have a full-time job that demands a lot of you, from running workouts to weights to a lot of film, and then you got practice and everything like that. So just in the structure of it, my time management to just how I run my business. A business is a team. You got team members that you got to develop them. You've got to one person's sick or, one person's not there, then you got to fill up the slack, and so, and one part, part of my enjoyment of having my own business is, my employees, because I've got one employee that's working for me for, I believe, 8 years or 7 years now, and I've helped him start a landscape business on the side. So, Corey Flainer with Flainer Landscaping, but he, he's a hard worker, real, motivated. He played at Tennessee High as well, and but he wanted to get going and get some extra income flowing. So we've worked with him and got him going with a different, with the business and everything. I think if you surround yourself with good people, good things happen. My dad told me a long time ago, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. Don't start from scratch. Buy one that's already existing, because you've got the numbers. It's so hard. I read I'm reading some books about it, and I think like 55 to 60% of businesses that start from scratch fail, and businesses that are purchased are around 75 to 80. So you've already got a lot better chance of surviving if you can buy a business and just develop it, change some things, but then you've already got a payroll, you've already got employees, you got all that kind of stuff. You're not having to just start from scratch and and scrap by. There's going to be some growth. Hoping to grow every aspect of it. There's some companies there's a lot of boomers that are getting ready to retire, and a couple businesses are coming up. They're in each aspect of the business, from shredding to commercial cleaning, that I'm in negotiations with about purchasing them. So there's a lot of growth. I'm looking down towards Knoxville and up towards Roanoke. The home base will, I'll call Sullivan County, East Tennessee home. The cost of living is, it's great. We got great school systems. We have, if you like the outdoors, you've got a ton of stuff to do. Yeah, I'm a big outdoorsman. That's where I find my, my peace and my, release, because if I'm in town, I'm either at the lake or hunting, or I guess I'm just really working most of the time. But we got a place out at South Holston we go to pretty much every weekend, and we fish, hunt, and everything like that. We got 4 lakes right here within a 20-minute drive. Bristol's got the Tri-Cities from Abingdon, Kingsport, Johnson City. We got some great restaurants. That's food. Food's a big thing for me. I'm either cooking or going to good restaurants, and we've got a lot in the area to offer. I've lived my whole life pretty much on Edgemont Avenue. I grew up right off Edgemont. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, played football there at the Stone Castle, and then the baseball field's right there off Edgemont. So I definitely have pride in this area, and the community that we're all a part of, that that continues to develop, and something to be proud of. Yeah, my family's the most important thing to me, and every decision I make is based off of what's the best for my family.
Tell me about the present that you received.
Yeah, absolutely. So my grandfather, he was born in Weber City, and they owned a mechanic shop, a filling station over there, and all of his brothers, there's I think 3 or 4 Fleming's garages over in the Kingsport area. But my mom gave me this a couple weeks ago, and for my birthday, and it's just it's his old money box that he carried every day with his money, and it's got his old ledger in there, and some of his old business cards. He owned a garage right there near Patrick Henry Dam. So.
And what does that gift mean to you?
It's kind of, that's why I sit on my desk. It's it just shows how hard he worked. And but my mom, she was the first student or kid from their family to go through college and everything. So just, my grandmother worked her tail off all the way. She worked for Donahue Graphics, which her uncle or her brother owned over in Kingsport. Virginia Tech had the lunch pail defense, so it was kind of, the defensive captain carried that to and from work or to and from practice every day. So I don't carry it back and forth, but it'd get lost in my messy truck. But just setting it there just as a reminder of where my family comes from and where we're going.